All right, let's talk camping gear. So recently I went to Yerranderie Ghost town. I had a little bit of a shift in the way I was doing my motorcycle camping, and instead of doing a swag, I've gone with the hiking tent. So I wanted to show you what all the gear that it was that I took, because I managed to get all that gear for sleeping and cooking for $500. All right, let's run through it. First things first, let's start with the most expensive. This was the tent, right? This is a Nature Hike cloud up 2-person backpacking hiking tent. Awesome tent. Really happy with this. This was the most expensive item, $209. All the links for these I'll have in the description, by the way, so you can have a look at it. Bought all these on Amazon. This is a great tent. At 1.8 kilos, it's very light. Now, you can buy cheaper tents, of course. I went up to BCF and had a look at what they had up there, and yes, you could buy a tent for around 60 bucks. However, it was approximately another third in size, and it was really heavy. So this is, for motorcycle camping, obviously weight is a major factor. So, and space is probably even bigger factor. So this turns out to be a very comfortable tent. Being 2 people means that I can sleep on one side and I can bring all my gear inside and have it all inside, out of the rain, out of the weather. So it's got a aluminium skeleton, and it's really easy to put up, takes no time at all, and very simple, lots of room. And it rained that night at about 4 a.m, fair amount of rain too, and it held up perfectly. So love this tent, highly recommend it. With the tent also comes a mat which goes on the ground, so that comes with the tent. Sleeping pad. This is a Hikenture sleeping pad, household brand name, that one. But there's a lot of good quality gear on Amazon, and you don't have to spend an absolute fortune to get good quality gear. This lays out easily within the tent, blows up. It only takes like 4 or 5 big puffs. Nice big opening vent, so you can get your air into it quicker. Blows up really quickly and is really comfortable. I am about 97 kilos at the moment, which is way heavier than I want to be, but I didn't feel like at any stage I was hitting the ground through this. So very comfortable even for my weight. I'm 175 height, so average height, and easily lengthwise it's perfectly fine. This one tips the scales at 700 grams, so very light, and it was $45. Pretty cheap. So I've got something to sleep in, I've got something to sleep on, and now here is the sleeping bag. Now this was the second most expensive item. I did go up and have a look at what they've got at Kathmandu, and it was starting around $500 for a goose down sleeping bag. Now there's probably was high quality, I assume, but I've been really impressed with this. So this is a Nature Hike sleeping bag, compact, ultralight, goose down mummy sleeping bag. So mummy means that it's tapered down at the end, which makes it a bit warmer. Now, when I first tried this out at home, before we went out into the wild, I was a little concerned that it wasn't going to be warm enough. I have to admit, I got in and I was thinking, this isn't that warm. I didn't feel like it was elevating my temperature in any way. But we're out in the elements, it was perfectly fine. I was absolutely 100% warm in this, and I think we got down to around 4 degrees that night. So at a total of $129, this is quite reasonable when you compare it to what you can get at BCF, for example, which was massive sleeping bags. They didn't have really anything that was hiking, and comparing that to Kathmandu, which is ridiculously priced, this is actually pretty good quality for $129. That's all our sleeping gear, but when you get to where you're going, you want to be able to sit down, right? So if you put on a campfire, etc., then you want to be able to sit. Now this seat is called a Trekology Yuzi Go portable camping chair. It's a bit of a mouthful, but it is brilliant. I did show this on my live stream the other night, but it basically comes in 2 pieces. You've got the frame and you've got the seat. I'm not going to pull it apart at the moment. I'll do some B-roll that shows that. But you basically pull that apart, put it together, and away you go. Very light as well. And the thing about this, for a camping chair, it takes up very little space. So that was $50 total. It is rated for 300 pounds, which is 136 kilos. When you first sit in it, it feels like, oh, but perfectly took my weight, and as long as you don't, flop into it, it'll easily take a reasonable amount of weight. So really good quality, and packs up nice and tight. Even this bag's pretty bulky, but that packs up nice and neatly into the saddlebags. All right, now let's talk cooking. So as far as cooking, I use this Coleman stove. Now, absolutely, there is better quality products as far as jet boil. You can buy a jet boil thing for 200 bucks. What I went with, I just used this old camera lens. So I used 3 separate products instead, which of those 3, one of those is the fuel, which you have to buy anyway if you're looking at it separately. But essentially, combining these 3 products, you end up with basically what a jet boil is anyway. The Coleman Peak 1 stove is $23. The fuel was $19. And then this cook set, which is a Stanley Adventure all-in-one 2-bowl cooking set for $39. So the total of that is $81, right? So when you compare $200 to $81, that's a fair difference. Now, granted that the jet boil does compact all together, and it certainly will save a lot of room. However, these two, I didn't clean that properly. These two, this does work really neatly, and this is easily enough to boil a meal, whether you're doing 2-minute noodles or something more fancy than that, like Thai green curry, for example. That works out as a pretty good package at 80 bucks, right? You can't really do too badly with that. So that's it. That's my whole camping, cooking, and everything. So when we add all that together, all that easily fits into a saddlebag and is more than enough to go camping. So that whole thing, I did tell a lie at the start, this actually is a total of $514. So, look for the sales, you can get it for under 500 bucks, but it's still pretty close, right? 500 bucks worth gets all of this brand new gear, and it is more than enough. So the price of the sleeping bag, right? If I had gone to Kathmandu and just bought the sleeping bag, I can buy all this gear for the same price. None of these at any point did I think it was low quality. This is all really high quality stuff that I'm sure will last for a long, long time if I treat it nicely. So yeah, hope that helps. If it does, give us a like, subscribe to the site if you want to hear some more adventuring stuff. And don't forget to check out our merch store. We've got t-shirts and hoodies and hats and so on that celebrate all the local roads and trails around Australia. And our video course is just coming out now. If you're into making videos for your motorcycle rides, then check out that intro course that's now available. We've got a short time introductory offer that's available now at half price. So check that out. Everything's on the website. Thank you very much. See you next time. Stay safe, have fun.